Welcome, my dear viewers, into the world of botany. This is KVS Durgapsad, Head of Department of Botany, introducing the topic of fruit, which is the last topic in the external morphology of angiosperms. In this session, we are introducing what a fruit is, what for a fruit is, and what are the various types of fruits. Here we go. Fruit is a post-fertilization effect of the ovary. What I mean to say is, after fertilization, this is the gynoecium in fact, after fertilization, this ovary will turn into the fruit and inside ovules will be turning into the seeds. So, flower is the reproductive structure in the angiosperms. After fertilization in the flower, the central gynoecium, the female reproductive structure, the ovary, after fertilization will be turning into the fruit. Formation of fruit is a characteristic feature of angiosperms. Fruits are seen only in angiosperms as a highly developed structure in the plant kingdom. What for a fruit is? Fruits are for the sake of the protection and the dispersal of the seeds. Fruits help in the protection and the dispersal of seeds. Here again we are seeing the same thing, that is a dispersal of the seeds. And such fruits are fundamentally classified into the three types: the true fruits, the false fruits, and the parthenocarpic fruits. A parthenocarpic fruit means a fruit without fertilization, which is seedless. Parthenocarpic fruits are fruits formed without fertilization. Then let's see the difference between the true fruits and a false fruit. True fruits and false fruit. A fruit that develops from the ovary is said to be a true fruit. A typical example, grape or mango or cucurbits, anything. Fruit that developing from the ovary. Ovary after fertilization will turn into fruit. Any part other than the ovary may turn into a fleshy structure, and that is called the false fruit. Here this is an apple. The edible part in the apple is not the true fruit. It is not a original part of the flower. It is not the ovary in fact. It is the thalamus, the fleshy part in the apple is. We'll be seeing it again. So the true fruits, ovary develops into the fruit. In pseudo fruits or false fruits or accessory fruits, otherwise they are called, other than the ovary, the fruit will be developing. Here we are watching the two examples. This is Anacardia occidentalis. Here the fleshy part, here the edible fleshy part is from the stalk of the flower, that is called the pedicel. And this is the apple, the pyrus malus. Here the fleshy part is from the thalamus. So thus in the false fruits, you are watching once again, the stalk of the flower will be turning into the false fruit in the case of cashew nut, that is Anacardia occidentalis. It is the thalamus in the case of apple. It is sometimes the fleshy calyx in the case of delinium. Or even the case of jackfruits, the ficus members, the edible fleshy part is the peduncle, the whole inflorescence. Thus, the false fruit means a fruit that is developing other than the ovary. Now, let's come to the true fruits. The true fruits are fundamentally classified into three types: the simple fruit, the aggregate fruit, and the composite or multiple fruit. If a single fruit is formed from a single flower, a single fruit is formed from a single flower, then it is called simple fruit. Formation of a group of fruits from a single flower, that is from an apocarpous ovary, we'll be seeing it later on, it is called aggregate fruit, where the entire inflorescence will turn into the composite fruit. This simple fruit is again divided into two types based on the nature of the pericarp. If the pericarp is fleshy, it is said to be called fleshy fruits. If the pericarp is dry, it is said to be called the dry fruits. The dry fruits are again divided into, if they dehisce, they are called dehiscents. If they won't dehisce, they are called indehiscents. They may partially dehisce, they are called schizocarpic fruits. This is the classification of fruits. And here again we are seeing the simple fruit developing from a single flower of a single ovary. And these aggregate fruits, these are multiple fruits, and these are the false fruits. Here you are seeing the wide and broad classification of various types of fruits, that is simple, aggregate and multiple fruits. Simple fruits into fleshy fruits and dry fruits. dry fruits into dry dehiscents, dry indehiscents, and schizocarp. And there are various types of dry dehiscent fruits, which we are going to see it later on. Various types of indehiscent fruits, various types of schizocarpic fruits, and various types of fleshy fruits are there. And again, in aggregate are also we have different types of aggregates, and also in multiple fruits also there are two types, that is Cirrhosis and Cyclonus. So there is a detailed classification. There are various types of fruits, and now let us watch one after the other. To begin with, this is the fleshy fruits. Fleshy fruits means whose pericarp is fleshy and is edible. Pericarp means the wall of the fruit is said to be called pericarp. If it is fleshy and edible, and not only that, seeds will be liberated only after the death and the decay of the pericarp. The fruit won't dehisce, and the seeds will be liberated only after the death and decay. And these fleshy fruits are again classified into various types. That is the berry, the pepper, the pome, the hesperidium, and various types are there, and also the drupe. To begin with, the fleshy fruits. Here once again you are seeing the various types of fleshy fruits. To begin with, it's a berry. Berry means it develops either from superior ovary or inferior ovary, and the entire pericarp is fleshy and edible. The seed alone is the hard part in it, and such fruits are called the berry. There is a thin layer of pericarp followed by fleshy, pulpy endocarp and mesocarp. In the fleshy fruits, the pericarp has been divisible into three layers: epicarp, mesocarp, and endocarp. Here the epicarp is like a skin, mesocarp and endocarp are fleshy and edible, and such a fruit is said to be called the berry. And we can take the example of lycopersicum, capsicum, brinjal, this is Cerium, various examples we can take for the berry. This is hesperidium. What is the most important aspect in the describing a fruit means the first, from which type of ovary it is developing, that has to be mentioned here. Say for instance, hesperidium, it develops from multicarpary syncarpous superior ovary, superior multicarpary syncarpous multilocular ovary. Here the three layers, the epicarp is leathery with volatile glands. If you watch any lemon or a citrus members, epicarp is leathery with volatile glands. Mesocarp is whitish and fibrous, and endocarp is with a juicy succulent hairs. Thus endocarp alone is edible. Such a fruit is said to be called hesperidium. Epicarp is leathery, mesocarp is fibrous whitish, and endocarp with a juicy succulent hairs. And what such a fruit is said to be called hesperidium, and the example for that is citrus, and that is endocarp alone is edible. Then another fleshy fruit is the pepper. It is developing from inferior tricarpary syncarpous unilocular ovary. I repeat, inferior tricarpary syncarpous unilocular ovary. Epicarp and mesocarp fuse to form a hard rigid layer. You could see it in the case, this is watermelon. You could see it in the case of cucurbits. And in all these cases, the epicarp is fuses with thalamus to form a hard rigid layer called the rind. The mesocarp and endocarp are fleshy and edible with numerous seeds inside in it. And such a fruit is said to be called pepper. And we can quote the example of any cucurbit members. This is pome, already explained, where the fleshy part is, the edible part is the thalamus. Thalamus is the fleshy part. It's developing from inferior ovary, and that thalamus is enveloping. This is the original true fruit central, and the entire fleshy part is the pseudo part, and that is thalamus. The best example is apple and pear. Coming to the last among the fleshy fruits is the drupe. What is the important aspect to be mentioned here? Where the endocarp is hard and stony. The endocarp is hard and stony endocarp fleshy fruit is said to be called drupe. There are two best examples. One is mango and coconut. In mango also endocarp is hard and stony. Epicarp is leathery, mesocarp is fleshy or juicy, endocarp is hard and stony. In the case of Cocos nucifera, that coconut, epicarp is woody, mesocarp is fibrous, and endocarp is hard and stony. Those are the two best examples, and that is the drupe. So these are the drupes. One is mango. So these are the various types of fleshy fruits. I repeat, the berry, the pepper, the hesperidium, the pome, and the drupe. Coming to the dry fruits, where the pericarp is not fleshy, it is dry. But whether this pericarp dehisces or won't dehisce or partially dehisce, accordingly they are called dry dehiscent, dry indehiscent, and schizocarpic fruits. These dry dehiscent fruits, they dehisce at the time of maturity and they liberate the seeds. Basing on the pattern of or mode of the dehiscence, the dry dehiscents are further classified into the various types: the legume, the follicle, the siliqua, the silicula, the capsule, and various types. To begin with, so these are the various types. This is legume, this is siliqua, this is silicula, and the various types of capsules, To start with, the very first one is the follicle. Maybe developing from by our multicarpellary ovary. The fruit dehisces only on the one side, on the ventral suture alone, it dehisces and releases the seeds. The best example is Calotropis. The fruit dehisces only on one suture and releases the seeds, and such type of fruit is said to be called follicle. Example is Calotropis. And once again, you are watching the same, the follicle fruit. Legume, developing from semi-inferior, monocarpellary unilocular ovary, and the fruit dehisces on both the sides, both the sutures, dorsal and ventral sides, and releases the seeds. The best example is Dolichos, Pisum. Any Fabaceae member you can quote for this, Pisum, Dolichos. The fruit dehisces on both the sutures and releases the seeds. That's the legume. Siliqua, it is developing superior bicarpellary syncarpous unilocular, but because of false septum becomes bilocular. Fruit dehisces on both the sutures, and the seeds are attached onto a false septum called the rhiplum. This is a false septum on which the seeds are attached, and what that fruit is called siliqua. The best example is the brassica, the mustard. If ever it is short and broad, it is called silicula. The best example for that is capsula and lunaria. So siliqua means the fruit dehisces on both the sutures and seeds are attached to a false septum called the rhiplum. Example, mustards. So here you are watching the follicle dehisces on one side, and this is a legume dehisces on both the sides, and this is also dehisces on both the sides, seeds attached to a false septum. So the siliqua, legume, and follicle. Now comes the capsules. They are developing from multicarpellary ovaries. There are 5 types. The capsules are septicidal, loculicidal, septifrasal, porous capsule, and the pyxedium. There are 5 types of capsules. And basing on their mode of dehiscence, here you are watching, this is septicidal, which dehisces along the septa, along the length of the septa, it dehisces, and even the central part is the placental axis that also dehisces and releases the seeds, and what it is said to be called septicidal capsule. The best example is Aristolochia. This is loculicidal capsule, which dehisces within the locule, hence it is said to be called loculicidal capsule. Best example is Ebelmuscus. And there is one more, and here also placental axis dehisces, and there is one more, septifrasal. It may dehisce either septicidally or loculicidally, but placental axis is not disturbed, and that is septifrasal, the thura. And this capsule dehisces in a circumference manner, and upper one opens as a lid and lower one behaves as a cup, and what it is called a pyxedium, and or otherwise called circumference capsule. Example is Portulaca. And this dehisces through the pores, and what it is called porous capsule, and you can say it in the case of papaver. So thus we have seen here the various types of capsules. This is septicidal, this is loculicidal, and this is septifrasal. The placental axis is not disturbed, and this is a porous capsule, this is a pyxedium, and this is the porous capsule. Once again, loculicidal, septicidal, and the septifrasal capsules. These are the types of capsules, and we got the examples. This is a porous capsule, poppy, pyxedium, amaranthus, loculicidal capsule, Ebelmuscus, septicidal capsule, Aristolochia, septifrasal capsule, datura. Those are the 5 types of capsules. Now it is a dry indehiscent fruit, which means the fruit won't dehisce at the time of maturity. The pericarp is dry, but it won't dehisce at the time of maturity, and they have only one seed in it. And these are again of 5 types. That is the echine, the caryopsis, the nut, the samara, and the various types. Cypsilla. To begin with, this is echine, developing from monocarpellary unilocular ovary. There will be only one ovule, and that will turn into the seed. The seed coat and pericarp are totally detached. Naravelia, clematis, ficus, we can quote the examples. This is a caryopsis, where the fruit coat, and that is the fruit wall, the pericarp and seed coat are totally fused, and you can't separate out, and which is the seed and which is the fruit, you can't discriminate. In general, we call them as grains, and this is a characteristic feature of Poaceae, Oryza. You can Geomays, we can quote. In general, what they are called the grains, and the seed coat and pericarp are totally fused, inseparable, and the best example here is rice and corn. This is Cypsilla, developing from inferior bicarpellary syncarpous unilocular ovary. I repeat, inferior bicarpellary syncarpous unilocular ovary, and there is a persistent pappus. There is a hairy structure on the fruit and helping the dispersal of the fruits. And best example for this is Asteraceae members, any Asteraceae members. This is nut, the hard and stony pericarp. Nut is developing from multicarpal unilocular ovary. There is a hard and stony pericarp is there. For that, best example is Anacardia occidentalis or even Terminalia chebula. Also, we can quote. And this is a winged dry indehiscent fruits. Wings are present from the fruits from the pericarp, and we can have a number of examples. These wings may be 2 wings, 3 wings, and different types of wings are there. And we can quote the examples of Gyrocarpus, Sterocarpus, Dalbergia, and various examples, Acer, Shoria. The wings will be developing from the style, developing from the pericarp, from various parts. So it's a winged dry indehiscent fruit, the Samara is. Here also we are seeing the examples of Acer, the winged dry indehiscent fruit. So thus the dry indehiscent fruits, the echine, the nut, the Caryopsis, the Samara, and also the Cypsilla. Coming to the last among the dry dehiscent fruits, that is schizocarpic fruits, which means they dehisce and forming small pieces. What these pieces are called mericarp. Each mericarp behave as a indehiscent fruit, which means it won't further dehisce, but it will be having only one seed in it. And such pieces are called mericarps. So it is a partially dry dehiscent, partially indehiscent. And such a fruit is said to be called schizocarpic. It is of various types once again. And my dear viewers, it is Lumentum, it is Cremocarp, it is Regma, it is Carcerulus, and it is Schizocarp. So these are again 5 types. To begin with, it's Lumentum, developing from monocarpal ovary, and the fruit is constricted. At these constrictions, it will dehisce and forming into number of pieces. Each piece will be having a single seed in it. The best example for this is Tamarindus and Acacia. This is Cremocarp, developing from inferior bicarpal ovary. The fruit dehisces and forming 2 mericarps, and the 2 mericarps are attached to a carpophore. An elongation of the thalamus in between the carpels is called carpophore, and to this carpophore the fruits are attached. And the best example is Coriandrum and fennel, members of Apiaceae, umbelliferae characteristic feature. This Cremocarp, the 2 mericarps are attached to a carpophore. This is Regma. It dehisces and forming into 3 pieces. And the best example for that is Ricinus, the castor. Regma forming 3 pieces. And Carcerulus is a labiate character, fruit developing from bicarpus in corpus tetralocular ovary. The fruit dehisces and forming into 4 pieces, 4 mericarps. Each mericarp behave as a nut, hence they are called nutlets. Best example is Ocimum. Coming to the last among here we are mentioning the Regma and the Carcerulus once again. Coming to the last among them is the Schizocarpic. It is developing from superior multicarpillary syncarpus ovary, multilocular. Number of mericarps is equal to the number of locules. Number of mericarps are formed. Each mericarp is usually having a 1 seed in it. And the best example that is Abutilon and Sida. So thus the schizocarpic fruits, we have the different types of schizocarpic fruits, the Lumentum, the Cremocarp, the Regma, the Carcerulus, and Schizocarp. Dear viewers, thus we have seen the dry dehiscent fruits, dry indehiscent fruits, and schizocarpic fruits. These are all the dry fruits belonging to the simple fruits. Here comes the aggregate fruit. What is an aggregate fruit? This is developing from an apocarpus ovary. What does it mean? On the thalamus, numerous carpels are there. They are all free. Each carpel has its own ovary style and stigma. Each carpel will turn into a fruit. With the result, a single flower produces number of fruits. What these are called? Not fruits, fruitlets. A bunch of fruitlets from a single flower. And what it is called? Iterio. A fruitlets on a common axis is called iterio. It is aggregate. And basing on the nature of these fruitlets, these are iteria of follicles, iteria of achines, iteria of berries, iteria of drupes, and iteria of samaras. We have various types. This is all about it. This is iteria of berry achines. This is iteria of follicles, and we have iteria of berries, polyalthia. And iteria of follicles, we have some Michaelia members, and iteria of achines, some strawberry member, iteria of samaras in the case of Elianthus. So on, iteria of where all the fruitlets unite to form a single fruit-like structure. This is Ananas squamosa, the custard apple. This is also an aggregate fruit. Each piece is a fruitlet here. That is a custard apple, Ananas squamosa. Coming to the last among the fruits is the composite fruits or the multiple fruits, where the entire inflorescence is turning into a fruit-like structure. And here it is again of two types, Cirrhosis and Cyclonus. If it is developing from spadics or spike inflorescence or catkin inflorescence, just like in jackfruit or in pineapple or in casuarina, if it is developing from spike, spadix or catkin, that fruit is said to be called Cirrhosis. If it is developing from hypanthodium inflorescence, it is said to be called Cyclonus. These are all Cirrhosis. The best example for that is you can quote pineapple, ananas sativus, or jackfruit, that is said to be called Autocarpus. And this is a Cyclonus, and Cyclonus means where it appears like a fruit-like structure. In fact, this is a hypanthodium inflorescence. This is a peduncle, the fleshy part is, and that will turn into fruit-like structure. The best example for that is Ficus members. So once again, you are watching the same type. And thus, my dear viewers, here you have seen the various types, the simple fruit, the aggregate fruits, the multiple fruits. And simple fruit means where a single ovary will turn into a fruit. Apocarpus condition will turning into a number of fruitlets in the case of aggregate, and where the entire inflorescence is turning into fruit. And thus, we have seen the various types of fruits in this session. And these are all the various types. A broad topic. The fruit is the terminal topic in external morphology. And this is KVS Durga Prasad, Head of Department of Botany. Hope you might have benefited with this topic. Thank you.